Greetings! This is Stasia Bliss. Many of you know me as someone who likes to speak about things of a spiritual nature. I suppose I do like to. This morning, I was reflecting on, the age-old advice, at least in this day and age, that you should start the day with meditation, cup of tea. I too have been a proponent of this. Get up, stretch, drink some tea. But after a while, sometimes it's boring, so I like to spice it up. So I like to wake up, open my eyes, and check my social media. Immediately, I find somewhere where my, careless sleep state doesn't really mind, poking in and disagreeing with somebody just to see what will happen and how I can get myself out of it, or if I can. So I did that today. And what I'd like to comment on, I suppose, is this idea that certain things don't feel good and that we are to avoid those things. I disagree. I actually think that things that that challenge us, that disrupt us a little bit, that cause us to have a little inner resistance, that's an opportunity for alchemy right there. Bringing together two opposing forces, two opposing charges, and then reconciling them within yourself. This morning I commented on somebody, and I'm just going to say it, and you guys can argue my points if you like, for a little resistance in my life. But someone was, bashing on Trump, and I just, I'm like, well, come on. So I like to always play the other part of the alchemy and say, well, come on. A lot of things have come out into the air since this administration that were hidden before, yeah? Buried things, quiet things, letdowns in the system, fake news and, the vaccine sort of terror and all of that. And I listed a few other things that I've seen, human trafficking coming out so that it's more known, all this stuff in the underbelly of some of our biggest systems, and the medical system is not excluded from this. So mentioning that, I did not know this woman was a nurse, and immediately came back at, how great and important these injections were, and any idiot would say otherwise. So, I'm like, I get your stance, you're a nurse, you were you were trained to do this, and you've done it a lot of times probably, and so you'd have to think pretty badly of yourself if you didn't agree in the thing you were doing. So I can totally see that. But so I asked, do you mind if I share, some of the stories that are going on, because doctors, nurses, people in the industry, people in, that have left vaccine industries and pharmacies and CDC and so forth have come forward. There are videos, there are articles, and what are we to say, hundreds and thousands of articles and videos are all fabricated and made up? Well, if you're going to say that on the one side, alchemy says, you've got to say the same thing on the other side too. So of course she received my videos and links, which I get by following the Vaccine Free Child site and website on Facebook, which is awesome because the people in that group keep all that information in one stream, and I honor all of the people in there, and I just want to bless that group up right now, through this medium. Nobody mess with that group. That's a sacred space. Truth speakers and sharers. So anyway, after posting some of those things, she posted back with some graphs and charts saying how clearly vaccines were effective and helpful, very logical-minded things. Here I presented some emotional material in a way, some doctors and practitioners who have been steeped deeply in the industry and have come out and felt like they had to share what they saw. Like that's the more feminine approach, and of course the charts are the more masculine approach. And so I find it interesting, and it kept poking at me, and I was like, it's very interesting that you were presenting numbers, that you were presenting graphs and figures. Like, she wanted more scholarly evidence, like probably being a scholar, but I too am a scholar. I too felt like this was a matched conversation in a way, at least for my morning alchemy practice. And so I inquired back with her same questions, like who did the charts, like who made the charts? Like, are you sure they weren't funded by one of these corporations? Like, are you sure? Like, I don't see the evidence to the contrary. And, like, I wasn't meaning to be mean, but I did post the question, like, I'm sharing human stories. Like, are you not a human? Are you not a real person? Because real people care about stories, like numbers care about numbers. Like, people who are just a number care about numbers. And numbers all have their number called. Like, at one point, like, the number's up. Not like being threatening to her personally yet or anything, but just, like stating truths about numbers versus people. People care about stories and don't mock another person's story based on a fact of a number, because those aren't always right in the face of someone's real story. I have clients who have vaccine injured children, and that's a real story. There's real pain behind there. There's real struggles, human struggles. So before I could answer again to this woman and say, like, I appreciate you going back and forth, I'm not trying to at all offend your person. Like, I really wanted to bring the alchemy back around, or just, look good on the screen or whatever. But I really did feel like, I hope I didn't go overboard with this woman. I hope that I can speak to her, that I do honor, but she had disappeared at that point. So I began this video by saying, like, this now has lit some kind of an energy under my day. And some might say, oh, that's not a good energy to have. How are you going to be peace and love if you just put in, that stuff in your brain in the morning? But I'm like, well, my life is about humans. My life is about other humans. So if my interaction with this woman sparks a deeper sense of humanness in me, which I feel that it does, like, it evoked some kind of emotion for me, even in the sudden realization that she didn't like my sharing, and I wasn't as appreciative of her sharing as maybe somebody else would be. And so we were like, oh. And I was like, gosh, I really don't want to offend you as a human. Like, I really was just sharing. I would be, like, so happy if someone shared that stuff with me. Like, if I was a nurse and I didn't see or read any of that, like, would I so quickly discount it? I wouldn't think that I would. But it causes me to recognize there's a great fear behind those who are in support of the old system. The old systems, all the systems that we have had currently in place, medical system, legal system, political system, like all these systems, educational system, our protective services, like everything that we have believed to be our safe zone is the field of planet Earth. And so now, as evolution is occurring and our consciousness is upgrading, it is necessary that there's a breakdown in that structure so that a new Earth can be birthed. And it is going to be a little bit painful for some. And like, if you haven't thought about the system being wrong at all yet, some of us have been following this for decades, just being like, oh my gosh, when is this going to change? Like, doing the little I can, but not seeing massive shift. Well, now the massive shift is here. So I like to look at Facebook in the morning and see what the temperature of reality is, because it's like being on the front line. And so I just want to appreciate this medium And the YouTube platform that I'm recording this on, I'm appreciative right now because, I know there's a lot of negative things that can be said for these platforms as well. But, we wouldn't be having the opportunity to watch this all go down like we are, to watch the change in humanity, the shift in the culture and in the world, were it not for these social media platforms. So thank you to YouTube and to Facebook. I know there's other things that I might not thank you for, but this I do. I thank you for the music, for the friends, the sharing, the space to debate life, to see the pictures of my loved ones, to watch the videos, to record my own experiences and have somewhere to look back on, to share the little thought nuggets. It's really a unique and powerful platform. So just my perspective on seeing social media as a blessing. Don't beat yourself up too much. You're on here right now. Love you.